Welcome, everyone, to the Return of the Dosage, the first one for the year 2020. I'm with Rob. I always want to call you Locke still. You're
I
Locke.
mean, you can.
You're Locke in NAW, but you were technically Rob, and I am Travis. So,
That's true. Well, I think we're literally Rob and Travis.
we are. We're missing our better third. He is eating dinner, so he might be popping in as we discuss the PlayStation section of this podcast. So, to give you an idea what episode 104 is all about, we're talking about now 7 years almost removed. Can you believe it?
It's hard to believe, man. Even more so when you put it not just in the terms of distance from where we were, but when you put it in such proximity to where we're about to be.
Oh, this is huge. We talked about this a lot years ago, especially when we first met, about the timeline of the lifetime of a console, right? So we've discussed two different forms of it: the full life cycle, which is the beginning to end, not between actual generations, and then there is the generational gap between. So from launch day of one to launch day of the other, because as you know, they were
Yeah.
still making Wii and PS2 titles long after the life of 360 and heck, even the Wii U and the PS3. They discontinued that, years later. But what we're going to be talking about today is both Xbox One's launch on November 22nd, 2013, and the week before that, PlayStation 4's launch in 2013. Both of these I had the privilege of working at the retailer GameStop at. Shout out to that facility. I believe both of us have worked there.
Facility is appropriate.
Both of us worked there different periods of time. I was fortunate enough to work both these launches for both these consoles and got to be part of that excitement. It was a really cool time. So we'll dive first into the Xbox One. My first question for Rob is, did you have it on day one?
I did. I went out of my way to make sure I got that fancy day one edition, just like I know you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually even plunked down the money for that. I don't remember what they called it now, but the fancy metal credit card looking thing that
Yeah,
you could get if you bought the year of Xbox Live at the launch of the Xbox One.
I still
Even though
have
I
mine.
had a year, yeah, I have mine too.
Yeah.
I literally the only reason I bought it was because it was a collector's item. I didn't need the gold at that time. I was good for like another 6 months at that point.
So it sounds like you and I are identical in that aspect. We didn't need to have it, but we had to have it. Shout out to chat real
Insert I
quick.
need it gif.
we needed it. Shout out to chat. Redbeard's with us. Crash Fistfight, of course, with us in chat. We'll be answering any questions or any comments that they have throughout the course of the show. So with the system that night, I remember working that launch, like I said, at midnight, getting mine, wait until it cleared out, probably 1, maybe 1:30, closing down the store, and counting down the registers, which was a lot because there were a lot of pickups. I remember marking and putting stickers on all the boxes and who was in which group that we grouped into the store. So it was quite the process, but it was really cool. I remember having mine in the back, just waiting and just that anticipation and getting home, doing the update, the install, and just hooking it up to your TV, just kind of, firing up that giant VCR box of an Xbox One.
Yeah, I do
Honestly,
remember
there's
that.
there's nothing more exciting than a brand new console, whether it be an iteration of a current gen that you have or a brand new gen. But the thing that's more important than just the hardware is the software that's available for you to get at launch. So we're going to dive deep into these games that were available on day one as well as launch window, which is from day one to end of March the following year. So just over 4.5 months timeline. So you want to alternate. You have the list in front of you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my screen a little more squared up so I can see everything.
As you're doing that, I want to say, obviously, again, the Xbox One launched November 22nd, 2013 in the US, UK, and 15 other territories for $499 in the US. So I'll give you an idea what it
Ugh,
costs. And it came with
I gotta
Kinect.
say that was the hurtful part.
I mean,
That
it's not a bad value figuring what you got and what the 360 cost in 2005.
Oh yeah, no kidding. I mean, value wise, it was fine, but
It's a chunk of change out of your wallet.
yeah, no kidding. That's there is that buy-in for sure. So yeah, looking at this list, I mean, honestly, that first game on the list, I'll say I dumped a significant amount of time into, not on the Xbox, but Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Now, this was one that was available also on the 360 at launch.
Hmm.
So you
And
had,
on PS3 and PS4 as well.
yes. And there were many games too to give you an insight of what was happening. They had, if games came out in October leading up to it, you could have an upcharge where you traded in your game and paid only like $10 to get the new console version of the game. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So Black Flag, I
I
believe, was one of them.
Yeah, it was for sure Black Flag. I say for sure, but from my recollection, for sure Black Flag was one. Um, I feel like Ghosts maybe was on that list.
Battlefield was, Ghosts was, um, Just Dance, I
Uh,
believe. Madden was, because I know a lot of people did that at the store I worked.
oh yeah, Madden and the two NBA games I think both were.
Yeah. Honestly, this might be people paid for the Xbox One, says Trevor. Always the hate. See, this is why we're doing this first.
I paid for it twice.
Oh, I have three over the course of the life of it. I have all three versions. Well, not all three. There are four versions technically.
Yeah, that all digital one.
The sad edition.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, like great launch title, and it really showcased the fidelity of the system and the power. Black Flag was an amazing game. Might be one of my favorites in the franchise.
Oh, it's definitely one of my favorites for sure.
So, as
And
like you, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it actually holds up. Like that's one of the few launch window games for either platform, really, that you can go back to now, and it doesn't really show its age nearly as much as you would expect from a launch game.
No, it's at that turning point of Assassin's Creed where they're finally fixing a lot of the mechanics and the gameplay of it all. So I
Yeah.
felt it was a really solid experience. Very pleased with that game. It is not one that I purchased on day one, though. Did you purchase that one?
Yeah, I definitely did. Again, not on the Xbox, but it was definitely a day one pickup for me because I wanted something to play. Uh, Another game on this list, if you don't mind me jumping down a couple of entries,
Sure.
um, that I did pick up day one for the Xbox was Dead Rising 3.
You know, that surprises me because I feel like we've talked about that before and you didn't have much to say.
I loved 1 and 2 a lot. 2 more than 1 gameplay wise, 1 more than 2 story wise. Um, and so I was really excited for 3 just because I had kind of a love affair with the franchise in general. Hey, Batman, thanks for joining us. Um,
And Trevor
but
with the hate in chat for you right now.
comically though, I get a lot of shit for this from a lot of people, but I buy a lot of games that I don't wind up having a ton of time to play. Dead Rising 3 technically should not be surprising, is not on that list. I actually dumped probably 20 hours into that game pretty quickly after I got it, in part because it was the only game I bought for the Xbox and I wanted to play my new system.
Oh, that's the
But
only one you picked up on day one.
looking back over the list on the Xbox, yes, that is the only game I picked up day one. I mean, technically, you could say I picked up Killer Instinct, but we got Killer Instinct,
Is it digital free
the
for?
base thing, for free. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I also had that, but who dumps 20 hours into a fighting game by themselves on day one?
Some people.
Um, that's fair. I shouldn't say that. It sounds really judgmental.
Yeah. Well, we just lost followers.
But I am not one of those people. I'll say with certainty. I mean,
So
I played it, but I played it for maybe half an hour, and then nobody wanted to play it with me, so I pretty much never touched it again.
it makes me sad.
But
I wish I would have known you at launch because that was a game I picked up too. I would have played with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I loved the original Killer Instinct as well, so I was hyped for that, and then I got it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's a fighting game. Like, it's still good, don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
like, I don't want to play a fighting game by myself.
Right, right. I
But
would have played
Dead
Dead
Rising
Rising.
3,
I was gonna say I would have
yeah,
played Dead Rising 3 with you as well.
I assume that's what you meant when you said
Either
you
or,
played
I,
that
I
with me
enjoy
back then.
Killer Instinct. They're both
Yeah,
one of the same reaction.
sure, that's fair. Um, I think the thing about Dead Rising 3 that will always stick in my brain, though, isn't even actually about Dead Rising 3, but about the Xbox One itself. It was the first time I got any kind of actual hands-on experience with the um, I don't know what you call it, the sleep mechanic, I guess, for games.
Hmm.
Because obviously, at some point that night I had to go to bed, and being able to hit home and put the thing in sleep mode and go about my business and go to bed and then come back
Hey
to it the
yo!
next day and pick up literally at the frame I left off was kind of game changing. 360 and PS3 did not do that, not that well.
No, that was a huge feature. There was a feature also available at launch that they quickly got rid of to, I guess, adjust processing power. You could probably state it better technically than I can, but the snap feature, do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember the snap feature.
So I used to watch Netflix or WWE Network when that launched with the snap feature, or even cable, while playing games with Snap. Honestly, it was a great, great feature, but they had to move around power in the
Yeah,
system, is how they described it. I forget the technical.
yeah, it was too system intensive to do both with any kind of consistent quality.
It allowed them to finally reach 4K 60 frames per second in games because of the removal of that, because they allocated their power better.
Yeah.
Twitch Snap with
Crash
Rainbow
also
Six.
remembers that. Talking about Rainbow Six, see, I could see that, and that was one of the things that really appealed to me about the Xbox when they launched the system was that snap feature. Conceptually, I mean,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of bummed out it didn't work out long term, but altogether not surprised. I mean, Microsoft was a little more willing to take bigger risks with doing unique stuff with their console at launch, and most of it really didn't pan out for them.
I was just say that's the ultimate story of the launch of this system. That whole year was a big risk how they marketed this thing. It was an entertainment. That's why it was called the Xbox One for everything.
Hmm.
And obviously that did not end up what it became. But it was their original goal for the console. And ambitious vision. I thought it was a great idea, but confusing for the consumer. And I think ultimately, if you want to do a versus show, this is what hurt
Hmm.
them out the gate.
Oh, this killed them. I absolutely agree with you that this was a big misstep for them was the marketing of the new features they wanted to put out with this system. Um, and I feel like we've talked about it in person before, and I've definitely talked about it with other people
Mm-hmm.
before, and I firmly feel like they probably should have at the very least approached the explanation
Yeah. I we'll probably never have an answer to that.
pretty hardcore, basically kicking off saying uh, used games weren't going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like if you really listen to the whole pitch, the idea behind why that was going to be a thing ultimately would have been to the benefit of the consumer, to us as gamers. But they were like, you can't trade games anymore, and everybody was like, riot.
And it was at the time where physical media was still a power. We still wanted that tangible media in our hands. Now I finally feel that we have more
Right? It's super
confidence in.
quiet. I don't know if you just didn't have a follow up to that, or if I lost you.
Are you still there? I'm on.
Yeah, I can't hear you anymore,
Uh oh. Let's check technical issues.
which
What's going
concerns
on?
me. Can the stream hear me? If chat could confirm if they can hear me, that would be cool.
You're
And
coming
or if
through,
they
and
can hear Travis.
let's see, you're coming through. Yeah, Batman says he can.
Okay, cool.
Trevor can hear
So
both.
I'm gonna probably have to leave the call and come back real quick.
All right.
Because I don't know what you're saying, Travis. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you.
All right.
Um, and then yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. So while he's doing that, when he pops back
Hey,
in, can you hear me
I can
now?
hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to answer a question while you're doing that real quick.
Hmm?
Crash had a question about what we feel on the controller for the Xbox Series X, if it'll become as a rechargeable controller or if it'll still take batteries. My initial answer is they want you to buy that Elite controller. So no, they're not going to make a rechargeable controller, especially because your Xbox One controllers and all your stuff for Xbox One will be compatible and usable on the Series X, meaning they're not going to give you a premium controller in that bundle. They still want you to buy that Elite Series 2 or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, that my money's going to be on that too. That if they do a rechargeable controller, it'll be that Pro Elite whatever.
Yeah,
And they'll,
which,
just like Redbeard said, the play and charge kits will continue into the next gen.
yep, sorry. That is a major bonus. I love that in my other consoles, and it is something I've complained about for years with Xbox. But it's not enough to, deter me away
They
from
make
their
too
console.
much money on the extra stuff.
Right. Here's the other thing too. Like, I'm not mad about it because that controller is the superior controller between the two. It is better than the PS4. And if you saw any of the prototypes right now leaking for PS5 or confirmation air quotes, the controller shifted its analog joystick to match that of the Xbox. I don't know if you've seen that yet. The PS5
I
controller.
haven't seen a change in the placement of the sticks. No.
Yeah, so the PlayStation 5 controller is a
look that
little
up
bit
real quick.
thicker, and it resembles the Xbox controller even more so. So if we want to have a war about superior controllers, I'm not going to get mad about the Xbox controller because I personally feel it's a superior controller. Another thing I want to talk about is the games that I had purchased on day one, just give you an insight on what I was playing. We talked about Assassin's Creed. I did not pick that up day one. But there were games that had the special case. It was like a silverish case that said day one edition. I went to a good chunk of these games, including Dead Rising 3. I still have my day one edition Dead Rising 3 case, which I absolutely love. But two other games I picked up on day one was Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts. Very disappointed in both of those, to be honest.
I do have the day one Dead Rising 3 case. How do you like that?
The silver on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go for those. Honestly, I usually hate those custom cases. Like, I truly abhorred the red greatest hits PS3 cases.
Oh, those are terrible. Those are terrible.
Can't stand them.
But day one, there's something about that, like, oh, I can only get this on the first day kind of thing. Like that achievement
Yeah.
that you got inside the box. Like,
Yep.
no one else can get that.
I'm a sucker for that kind of shit.
So, like, yeah, I was like, give me that custom case. I needed that case. Talking about two of the games, Call of Duty Ghosts being the weakest title in the series. I was very disappointed in that game, but I wanted to play an online shooter, especially with people I was working with at the time. So it was all about staying up to date with playing online and doing that kind of stuff, but it was ultimately a terrible game. Battlefield 4 had a ton of bugs at launch, go figure. Bugs as far as I'd play the campaign, and then it'd wipe my campaign. I'd have to start a new one each time I launched the game.
Nice.
So that was frustrating. So those are the three games, including, in addition, I guess, Killer Instinct. And then at the bottom of our list, I purchased a game for my wife, which was Zoo Tycoon. So we played that.
Yeah. I went real light on my purchases for the Xbox. I got Dead Rising and I got that free Killer Instinct, and that was actually all I picked up day one was Dead Rising 3. And I was fine with that, wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's a great launch game. Honestly, it kept me very busy. I was blown away by the amount of zombies on the screen. When you're driving down the highway the first time and you're just mowing them down in the vehicle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely crazy.
I'm like, how is this so smooth? Like, there was barely any frame rate drops. The visuals were incredible. The story, obviously, was just hilarious. It was a great game. And I know a lot of people didn't love it, but for a launch game, I thought it knocked it out of the park with what to expect as far as giving you an idea what this console was in for. Unlike Rise, visually Rise was great, but man, that was a rough game.
That was literally the only nice thing I've ever heard anyone say about Rise, was that it was pretty.
I mean, it is. You look at that game, it was like King Kong back for the 360. That damn game, I bought that day one. I was pissed.
Ugh.
I'm like, wow, this looks amazing. I play it, I'm like, wow, this is awful. It was so
At least
bad.
it was short.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, wasn't that the case for both of them? Rise and King Kong were both like sub 6 hours, weren't they?
Yeah, I think I beat Rise in like 4 because we could borrow the games from work and bring them back. And
Well, you gotta be
I
careful
was,
admitting that. GameStop's not real fond of that memory.
yeah. Hey, I mean, hey, they did it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So I did that. The game's now available free, part of Game Pass or something. I think possibly. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, I beat it in like 4 hours, and I brought it back to work the next day. So it was fine.
Glad I didn't buy this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And like that was our job to sell these games and like sell them like they're these
Yeah.
masterpieces. I was like, I can't lie to all these people. Don't buy Rise. Buy something else. Some other titles.
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead.
at least you could fall back on the it's super pretty, you know?
And that's the thing. This console offered a lot of great looking games at launch. Continuing down our list, I'll jump to the sports games now to just knock those out. FIFA
Yeah.
14, obviously, FIFA fans are going to get this. It's another iteration, a yearly iteration. Visually, huge jump in the franchise. Same with Madden and NBA. It was nearing the end of NBA Live. There were a lot of controversy with that series. It ultimately came back. Don't quote me on that full story. I know there's been a lot of there's a lot more to that one. Not a big
Yeah.
NBA Live fan either, so I couldn't recite the whole story.
NBA Jam was the last basketball game I cared about.
Was it Power Star?
Yeah.
Power.
NBA Jam Tournament Edition, Super Nintendo.
I think I played the last one on the Saturn. Was the one I played.
Mm.
Power Star Golf was a digital download. Other sports games, if you want to count them as sports, Fighter Within. That was just a god awful game.
Actually, don't even remember that one.
It was bad. It's worth not
Like,
remembering.
at all.
Forza Motorsport 5, again showcasing the high end visuals and power of the console,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Need for Speed Rivals. So 2 racing games. What is that? 4 sports games. 5 if you count the fighting. 6 if you count golf.
I think you
There's
count golf.
2 fitness games. So Xbox Fitness, which was a disc or download. Zumba Fitness. So they were really pushing their Kinect still at this time, which
Hmm.
unfortunately quickly faded out on that console.
Yeah, that also bummed me out a little bit.
Local Cycle, I don't even remember. Do you have any
Well,
recollection on that one?
no. I'm glad I'm not alone because
I'm like
I got
looking at this list.
nothing
I'm like, I
at
remember a
all.
majority, but Local Cycle, I don't. We're gonna get a comment or something on the video, and people are like, "Yeah, Local Cycle is the greatest." It was by Twisted Pixel, which that sounds very familiar. I don't know why, but yeah, Local Cycle, I don't.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the trailer for it on its wiki page while you're talking
While you're
because
doing
I don't
that,
remember this at all.
one that you mentioned recently on social media with your son, Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah, I didn't get that until well after the launch window, unfortunately, but
But that's fine. That game is still great to this day.
yes, absolutely phenomenal.
And
I think we
then,
just had a Badoop there.
oh, Badoop, do we have Caleb joining us?
I think so.
Maybe. We don't hear him. We'll continue.
Maybe
We'll
not.
hop in.
No mic. Yeah, I heard him. I heard him join the call, but no
Let's
mic yet.
see. The last game on this list for the Xbox Day 1 launch will be Skylanders Swap Force. Do you remember when that was the craze?
I do.
Did you ever get into that?
I
I did.
didn't.
I did. I'm so glad you asked me.
Caleb
Hey,
got
there's
into it.
Caleb.
Oh my god! Imagine running into you guys here.
Hey, weird. We said
Weird.
Skylanders and he shows up.
It was. I was called.
We
Um,
collected him. Did you really collect Skylanders?
I wasn't a big collector, and I guess let me just hop in and apologize to the listeners for being a little bit late. Life happens. The chicken strips were delicious and handmade, but we're here now. So yeah, I did have Skylanders, and for me, it was like the biggest brain explosion moment of, oh my gosh, it's what I've always wanted. I have a physical toy, and then I can also play with it in my video game. Coolest thing ever. And I did have. I mean, I was way too old. There's no doubt about it. Like I was too old to be playing with Skylanders. That is like
Yeah.
mathematically correct. But yeah, and there was always a couple where I was like, "Ooh, I really want that one," but I don't want big tall Caleb seeing going through Toys R Us picking that up.
I
You know
was
what?
intrigued.
I can't even cast judgment because while I didn't buy in on Skylanders, I did buy in on Disney Infinity when they came out with the Marvel box set.
And that's one I
So
wish I would have gotten
I
into.
have the giant collector stand that has all of the Avengers plus the weird monster thing that lights up, and I don't regret it. I mean, it was not money well spent, but I don't regret it.
And that's the thing. That stuff was like it was like $79 for like your base starter kit, and then they had other like collections like 40 a piece. And we always had them displayed at the top of all the walls, so people
Hmm.
couldn't get them because they were so expensive.
Yeah, that specific one I think set me back 150, I want to say.
Oh my god!
I mean,
Wow.
it came with the game, plus it came with like 6 figures plus a bonus set of
It's
levels or some crap. So I
still
mean, like in terms of like comparative value to the core set, like you get your money's worth out of it, but the game itself was so short. I think we beat the entire base campaign in like 3 hours, if that.
that's terrible.
Yeah, I can't remember how long I played it, but I just remember being so excited about all the toys and, again, just that kind of moment of, wow, look where we're at with technology that, like I said, a physical toy that if I was really little, I could like smash them together like little fights and then boom, toss it on the little rock light up thing and it's in my game.
Yeah.
I mean, I
And
think
that kicked
that's
off several iterations of other things. I mean, the Disney Infinity I'm talking about was Disney Infinity 2, even not 1.
yeah, that
So
was
there was 1 and
popular.
2.
It
There
launched
was Skylanders. They did Lego
Amiibo.
Dimensions. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the precursor to Amiibos for
hmm
sure.
Absolutely, which is huge, right? I mean, Amiibo's massive right now.
Oh yeah, Amiibos are still bananas.
are they though? Like I've heard that kind of just dying off, and then you just have like your core hardcore collectors.
I feel like Smash tried really hard, right, so that you could have your Amiibo fighter train, but then, like in my mind, and I'm not a big Smash player, I play it kind of socially.
hmm
Okay, cool, your Amiibo fighter trains and does what after that point? I never understood that point, but I feel like I feel like the Switch may have been like almost the death to the Amiibos. Seems like it wasn't as popular once the Switch hit.
Because it kind of oversaturated the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redbeard says, I love my Diablo Treasure Goblin amiibo. I have that one, and I love it too. It's a great one.
Hmm. It is a pretty nifty one. I mean, I
Seven.
went out of my way to collect the Breath of the Wild Amiibos.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I've
I have
got
several, so I mean, I just didn't go crazy with it.
yeah. No, Alex has somewhere in the neighborhood of I think we counted like 80 or something nuts
Oh
like that. I thought he only had like
That's a,
30, but like
that's a large
he's
number.
got a lot more than I thought he did apparently. Um, but I've got maybe 10 between the Zelda ones, and I bought that triple pack of the Mario Odyssey ones where it's Bowser, Mario, and Peach in the wedding outfits.
Oh, I wanted that. That was cool.
Yeah, I
I feel
got
like for
that
me,
one. Go ahead.
go ahead. Oh, uh. I feel like for me, they're yeah, like definitely one of those, but they've turned into an aesthetics thing, where I just want them to be displayed figures.
Yep.
I think I've only played with one, and it was one that came with my Chibi Roby game, little side scroller on the 3DS.
Oh, yeah, I definitely don't play with him a lot. If I remember to, if there's like a bonus item in a game, like Resident Evil for more currency, I'll do that for my Revelations 2 game because I'm like trying to unlock a weapon or something. But for the most part, I use it for display. Well, I take that back. Diablo, the Treasure Goblin. But this is
Mm.
primarily just for look on my shelf.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah was just reminding me there is another triple pack that I also bought that was Rob the Robot Game and Watch and Duck Hunt,
Oh, that's a
and
fun one.
I never even opened that one because
Mm,
I bought it for a display piece.
yeah, that's a cool bundle. That's a retro bundle for sure.
Yeah, worth not opening. Good call.
So, in closure of Skylanders, I mean, obviously, huge craze. Appropriate that was going to be a day one thing on the new consoles. So it was a moneymaker at the time. Unfortunately, they're long dead now. Of very little value to other than those that still play it or collect them, but becoming somewhat rare other than pawn shops to find them. So the next thing we want to discuss is launch window titles. So we talked about all the day one games. So I'll recap those real quick. We had Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, Crimson Dragon, Dead Rising 3, FIFA 14, Fighter Within, Forza Motorsport 5, Just Dance 2014, Killer Instinct, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Loco Cycle Madden 25, NBA 2K14, NBA Live 14, Need for Speed Rivals, Power Star Golf, Rise, Son of Rome, Skylander Swap Force, Xbox Fitness, Zoo Tycoon, Zumba Fitness World Party. If you had any of those games collected in, please leave a comment below. Let us know what you felt and what your favorite launch day game was for the Xbox One. Now we have launch window titles, again, day one and the end of March 2014, the launch window. You want to kick off... Do you have the list in front of you, Caleb, by chance? Or do you want to kick off, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
No, let's let Caleb do it if he's got the list.
Cool.
Hit it. Guys. All right, so the launch window titles, and so we're looking at Wiki Connect Sports Rivals. Are we going down the whole list? We're gonna go one by one here.
I mean, however you want to do it. If you want to just present them all, then we can just talk about them as we feel.
All right. We have Minecraft Xbox One Edition. We have Wiki Peggle 2. That's fun to say. We have Project Spark, Titanfall, and Wolfenstein: The New Order.
And the wikis are actually not part of the title. I just want to say it's
awkward. That's Caleb being unfamiliar with Xbox.
Well, no, I think it's an IGN typo on the because it's the wiki for those.
It sounded weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember Wiki being part of Peggle, and I love me some Peggle.
It's not. It's that game's wiki. So I just wanted to confirm that.
I gotcha. So I'm for people who know me or who have been listeners here for the Dosage know that I'm not a big Xbox guy. I haven't had it in a while. Actually, I never even had. Oh no, I did have an Xbox One. So I don't even know that I have even played any of these. I'm familiar with them. I remember them coming out. So I don't have a lot of experience as far as that, but I definitely have opinions on some of them. So if you guys have any that kind of speak out to you, what are some thoughts there?
So Kinect Sports Rivals, I was still on the Kinect trace. I had to have a Kinect on the 360. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It came bundled off the Xbox One, as we talked about. And Kinect Sports Rivals was another one that I checked out while working at GameStop. And man, I'm so happy I did not buy that. It was fine, and just like the other Kinect games, it was fine. But like... the craze came and went for me, like having to jump around, and then at the time I had to move furniture just to make the Kinect work because I was in a single bedroom apartment. There's not a lot of space, and I had to move a couch into another room. It was just a lot to make the Kinect work. Even with the improved Kinect on the One, there was still a lot of issues. You know, it's funny I'm talking about this Kinect. I'm staring at it. It's on my floor in front of me right now. The Kinect, I still have it. It hasn't been.
I still have mine. Years. I can't hook it up because you can't hook it up to the One X, but I still have it.
Yeah, you need an adapter.
I do feel like, without diving hopefully into a long rabbit hole, I want to keep this rabbit hole short. I think that the Kinect, it was so, in my opinion, so good at making you actually move your body, which is what most gamers don't want to do. They want to shake the Wiimote and stuff. And so I think for people who are into these games, this one, I assume, was probably a good one if you really wanted to have the full body actually have to hit the pose thing, because I remember playing it or one of the versions of something like that, at college somewhere, and it was exciting to actually see your body and kind of move and stuff. But I agree, if you didn't have a massive space, these games were probably not worth it.
No, and the tech was great. Don't get me wrong. Don't let me discount the tech. It worked well for what it was doing. It's just the games themselves, the software with this tech was... it was all just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like how I feel about PSVR. It's all beta tech, right? It's not full $60 games,
Yeah, and do you think this is a game that, and maybe you guys already covered this a little bit, was just kind of included in like kind of the launch window to prove how good the new Kinect, or to bring people into it, like just to show its like you said, kind of beta, or just its abilities, like proof of concept game?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I think it was in this launch window to show that, hey, we're supporting the Kinect, and here's a follow up to what the 360 had to offer with better quality tech, better visuals, better gameplay, and that's what it was. So I mean, for those people that had those expectations, they delivered. But for a hardcore gamer, you wouldn't have bid at this. This is not for you.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten it because, again, this probably would have been around a time where, I wasn't in a massive space like you, and I'm not into moving furniture to play a sports game.
Yeah, it was too much. But if you had the room,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. What are you guys' thoughts on... Oh, yeah, what do you got, Rob?
I was just gonna say I didn't really use the Kinect for any of those movement-based games, but I did definitely use it for a lot of the voice commands and stuff for a while, and that was pretty much all I used it for.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
were there were voice commands in games like Rise at launch where you had to yell to send your archers to shoot like a storm of what do you call them? Like so I don't even know call them, but weapons. They throw their weapons when you yell.
Oh.
I don't know why I can't describe anything right now. Just my brain's just shutting down. But they had chants you could do. They had like in Dead Rising 3, you had to be quiet. If somebody made noise in your room, it would alert the zombies over to your presence, even if your character was standing still.
Oh,
So
that's
Yup.
sweet.
it was things like that. I'm like, okay, this tech is cool. But then you had all the people were like, hey, yeah, how about when Aaron Paul turned off people's Xbox? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of funny. But then you had people obviously like that trolling it. You also had people with the conspiracy thing. Xbox is watching you. So they put out the cover for the camera. So it's like,
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, so like there was all this worry now, like, oh, you shouldn't have this thing. They're always watching and they're listening, and then the viral videos started happening of people doing weird things in front of the Kinect that they captured, and it's just it became this
I can't
weird
remember.
world.
I can't remember the exact timeline, but what was that movie? It was like a scary ghost movie where they basically used the Kinect to show the dots in the room of the kind of night sight.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
It was
Um,
the Ghost Dimension, I think, was the last
yeah,
one.
that may have been, one of my biggest memories of the Kinect, which is kind of sad. Uh,
That was a cool movie. I got to see a sneak like preview before it actually came out. I still have my T-shirt.
hey, there you go.
Yeah, there's a
No
quick
need to
plug
brag.
for an old movie.
What are you guys' thoughts on Minecraft Xbox One Edition?
Oh my god.
Know the differences? Familiar?
Yeah, so the biggest difference, obviously, again, this sounds weird, the resolution, right? And
Hmm.
the sheer map size and ability. So the Xbox One operated more like the PC edition than the 360 build or PS3 build at the time. So it was just a better experience, and it ultimately ushered in Microsoft acquiring Minecraft because of the success of the sales on this console because they got it first.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that. That's what kind of took it down this where it lives now.
Yeah, and they got it at the right time. So
Oh, absolutely, because it's been blowing up ever since then.
oh, most definitely one of the greatest selling games of all time. I've bought the game at least 4 times, to be honest with you.
And you've caused me to buy it at least once or twice.
You're
So
right.
we're
It's a
there.
great
So
game, and I thought it
it
was so
is.
silly
No
before I
complaints.
bought it. Like I
Oh
had
yeah,
friends playing
I was
it.
always against it
Well, yeah, because you think it's just
until I wasn't.
childish. But I had friends hopping out of Call of Duty to go play Minecraft. And I'm like, why?
What?
It's a kid's game. You don't want to shoot people with me? Like, okay, go have fun. And then just one day I tried it,
Go
and I'm
play
like,
with your digital Legos.
right. That's basically how I dismissed it.
Absolutely.
And then I played it, and I was like, oh my god, I need to
It's like
tell
digital
every
Legos.
yeah, I need to tell everybody. I just cut down a
And that he
digital
did.
square
And
tree.
that he did.
No, it was great. Like it's simple concept, but man, fantastic game. It's one of those games that I'll still play today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Rob, you seem very positively opinionated about Peggle 2. Go ahead and enlighten me here a little bit.
I mean, it's a cheesy little sort of puzzle game. If you're not familiar with Peggle as a franchise, it's kind of like a weird pinball slash pachinko knockoff puzzle setup. You have a shape that is in the whatever theme it is for the level. Sometimes it's like an owl or a tomato or a smiley face or what have you. And you kind of do the like the brick breaker style games where you kind of aim the ball where you want it to go and shoot it, and then it bounces around, and if it hits the particular thing enough, it goes away and you get points. And it is absolutely no more complicated than that.
Huh. It's like fancy themed Brick Breaker.
I mean, you could kind of actually, if you're referring to Brick Breaker in the sense of like all of those Brick Breaker games that are in every freaking mobile ad on Earth right now, then
Yes.
yes, it is exactly like a fancy
Yeah,
version of one of
not
those.
classic Brick Breaker. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so that's to me comically, they're all called Brick Breaker knockoffs, but arguably they're a little bit more Peggle knockoff.
Yeah.
Um, because Peggle, while it's sort of a distant cousin, I guess, to the traditional Brick Breaker style, it's far enough adjacent that I feel like it's technically its own subgenre as opposed
Oh
to just
yeah.
being part of the main one.
I could definitely see that. Travis, you have any experience with a good old Peggle 2?
I played Peggle. I played Peggle 2 as well. I like PopCap. They put out, personally, I think one of the best games by them was the, God, what is it?
Plants vs
Plants vs.
Zombies.
Zombies. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
classic. That is a good one.
but yeah, so I've dabbled
That's a
in their
game,
games.
you guys talk about all the times you bought Minecraft. I've bought Plants vs. Zombies on every freaking platform you can.
Yeah, I just have it on
Speaking
mobile.
of supporting games.
So I got it free years later on the one. But
There
yeah,
you go.
no. Peggle's a great game. I enjoyed it a lot. Project Spark. Do you guys know anything about Project Spark?
Zilch.
I remember when they announced Project Spark at E3, and then I never heard another thing about it ever again.
Did you ever dabble with it? And then
No, like that's what I mean. Like I saw it on this list and I'm like, did that even come out? I thought it got canceled.
so it was in beta, basically beta build. The thing about it that was so confusing, and if you remember the original dashboard of the Xbox One, it hasn't really changed much. It's changed. It didn't change as
It's
much as the.
changed significantly.
I mean, it has, but it hasn't. Not as much as the 360 changed its dashboard.
Holy shit, no. No,
Um,
from the original blades all the way up to the Xbox One-esque squares, that was
Yes.
a huge shift.
but Project Spark was a game that was somewhat hard to find in the dashboard. It was kind of hidden, other than what you thought were advertisements, but it was actually the link to play the game and register. It was basically a creation game where you could create your own game inside of a game. So it was kind of like that continuation of the popularity of Little Big Planet. So it had its own 3D creation suite. You could create environments, set the time of day, do characters, personalities, creating enemies to fight. Basically, you had the tools to be a developer in this sandbox. It just wasn't very
And that is
intuitive.
100%. Well, and that was when they debuted it, that was what got me so hype about it. I was like, oh my God, this is like RPG Maker on steroids. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I definitely remember now hearing the kind of the hype behind this game. The name did not ring a bell, but hearing what's going on behind it. Yeah, I definitely remember it. I think my confusion was I feel like games like that or like this, if it's what I'm kind of picturing. I'm working on pulling some up right now, pictures. I feel like just with a controller it makes it kind of really hard to maneuver around things. Do you guys have that experience with it when you played it?
Oh, I completely agree. I think a controller makes it very difficult for something like this. And I think that's
I mean,
what.
they did launch it also on Windows 8, apparently, but considering what a doomed ecosystem Windows 8 itself
No,
was,
Windows 8 was garbage.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage. I did mess with Project Spark a little bit. Again, my feedback is just not intuitive. I didn't get very far with it. And it wasn't for me. If it was on a computer, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. And if it was my focus or interest at that direct time, I probably would have gotten into it more. At that time in my life, I was just, wanting to hop online and shoot bad guys. It was a very simplistic, short period of time for my gaming interests.
Hey.
Speaking
we've
of
all been
that,
there.
it actually segues into a game that I was very, very excited to get because this was a new formed company from a lot of people that left Infinity Ward when after the hype died down of Call of Duty Modern Warfare back with COD 4, if you will, not the new Modern Warfare. So very confusing, and not the Modern Warfare remastered either. So again, very confusing. But the game by Respawn and the new company at that time, who has gone on to do very great things now. But Titanfall, holy crap! You give me a game where I have the mechanics of Call of Duty, but then I can summon a mech and fight with the mech
Yes.
with other mechs. Sign me up.
This was a
But-
game that single-handedly almost let me buy the Xbox.
Oh, you should have. The
I know,
only
I messed
letdown
up.
to this game was there was no campaign.
Yeah, that's what killed it for me. Somebody bought this game for me as a gift, and I still won't play it because there's no campaign. Like, I can only do online shooters so much before I get. And I really fell in love with the concept, like with the universe and everything, you know? Um, and so I really wanted to love it. I really, really did. And Titanfall 2 did make up for a lot of the promise that Titanfall fell flat on for me.
Okay.
But it was too
But-
late.
Yeah, for the franchise, it kind of was too little too
Well,
late.
and it came out during a time where you were releasing another Battlefield game, you're releasing another Black Ops game. It was sandwiched in between all these big titles. It had no chance. Mag, okay, Redbeard, shout out to chat. Mag was amazing on the PS3. Andrew and I played
Yeah.
that so much.
I
So
don't know
good.
if I know that one.
So good. Massive action game is what the it stands for. But yeah, Titanfall was fantastic. I had a lot of good memories with that and leveling up and just the wall running too. They revolutionized wall running.
It was a ton of fun. Absolutely, don't mistake my statements for anything other than praise for the mechanics. My complaint is solely the lack of campaign mode. That's it. Otherwise, it was a great game.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, for
Our last
sure.
one on the list here was one that I was coming to the close of my time at GameStop. I was able to check out. I think it was actually possibly the last game that I checked out from there. Wolfenstein: The New Order. Played this, enjoyed it. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Did you guys ever play this?
No, I think the name, for whatever reason, and like obviously for me not being a big Xbox guy, but the name just sounded like weird to me. So I feel like the name alone, for whatever reason, didn't draw me into it. But after knowing more about it and kind of the franchise, it looks like a game that I probably would have enjoyed. But for whatever reason, sometimes words just kind of draw me away, unfortunately.
Rob?
Yeah, I missed out on it entirely. Honestly, I've kind of slept on the franchise to this point.
Yeah, like I said, they're fine. That one in particular had like a dream sequence where you went back and played the original Wolfenstein, or Stein, however you want to pronounce it. That was cool. Kind of a throwback. Crash confirms in chat that New Order was so good. It was fun. Like, it's if you like shooters, if you've played a Wolfenstein game, it's worth playing through. Otherwise, if you haven't played anything in the series, I don't think you're truly missing out. But it was a solid game, and it was a great entry into your library in this launch window. With that concludes the launch window for Xbox One. Overall, what is your success failures? Like, what were your highlights? And I guess just give me your feedback, Rob and Caleb, on the Xbox One launch.
Caleb, go ahead.
Yeah, mine should be short. I I didn't play, like I said, any of these games on the Xbox. I would say Titanfall is probably one of the ones that I was most excited about when I definitely heard about it. I remember seeing the videos and the trailers and everything. So I think that's definitely my highest. I think my guilty pleasure game would be Skylanders for sure, because that was one that I should not have been into, but was definitely was. And I don't think it's fair for me to say any sort of low point because I didn't play any of them.
Yeah, Rob.
We kind of covered everything I did with mine when I said the only game I bought was Dead Rising 3. So I mean, I like owning a piece of gaming history. So for me, that's really the highest point of the Xbox One launch, is that I managed to get that day one edition. I've got my day one controller. I got the day one Xbox Live metal card. You know what I mean? Like I've got things to commemorate that I was part of that moment in history, and so I count that as a high point for me. And arguably, I would even count it as a higher point than the PlayStation 4 launch for me, because PS4 didn't really do anything like that. But in terms of like actual experience with the console or games that I played, I mean, some of the innovative stuff that we talked about at the top of the episode, like being able to put a game to sleep instead of having to actually close it. The snap feature stuff that didn't necessarily stick around even. Those were kind of cool. I'm sad a lot of that stuff went away. I know a lot of people aren't, but I am kind of sad the Kinect went away. I thought the innovations with the new Kinect were pretty cool, but really, Dead Rising 3 was cool. Titanfall I got into after the fact, and that was cool. But if you want to talk about low points, Crimson Dragon, I played the demo when the system came out and subsequently got the game when it was one of the games with gold for free, and I would call that a low point. That and Rise.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree.
But,
I don't have any additional insight
I was
to
just going to
add.
say they're both really... the disadvantage of not being face-to-face. All I was going to say is they're both really pretty. So at least you can say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go ahead, Trav. On you, buddy.
I was just saying, I don't have any insight to add to it either. I basically went over, my thoughts and feelings. I was a day one adopter, very proud. I've been, I don't want to say fanboy because you get this weird, I guess, stereotype of a fanboy. But I was very much more supportive of getting an Xbox One because I had to make the choice. I didn't have enough because I was working at GameStop. Imagine that. I wasn't being paid enough to buy 2 brand new consoles the day they came out. In 2 weeks' time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, go figure. But with that being said, the PlayStation 4 launched the week prior on November 15th. Xbox, if you recall, actually sent out a social media blast congratulating PlayStation 4 on their successful launch. This again was November 15th, 2013. They retailed for $399. I'm going to cover some of the games that were also available on the PS4 that was also on the Xbox, so we don't have to be super redundant here in our conversation, so I'm going to dive through this real quick. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, FIFA 14, Just Dance 2014, Lego Marvel Superheroes, Madden 25, NBA 2K14, NBA Live 14, Need for Speed Rivals, Skylanders, Swap Force, and that's it for the day one launch on the PS4. But there were some other games that you could pick up with your brand new PS4 on day one. Did either of you have a PS4 on day one?
Did not. Not to day one.
I think we all know I did.
Damn, so you had both
I went out of
within
my
2
way to
weeks?
buy both.
Holy crap.
I had both of them day one, yeah.
That's incredible. I didn't get my PlayStation 4 until Destiny came out because I waited to buy the white console.
Ugh.
I wish I would have done that.
No, you don't. Mine died within a year.
But it looks so cool.
It did look cool.
Made a nice paperweight. I don't know why, but the Destiny ones were apparently prone to that. A lot of them died, apparently.
Yeah, because a garbage game and a garbage system.
Oh, Travis talking shit.
That's another.
No,
podcast.
I mean not to dive real far back into it, but we talked about Assassin's Creed when we talked about the Xbox. I did get it on PlayStation over Xbox at launch.
Shame.
Basically the same reasoning. I wanted something to play with the system when it came out.
Yeah.
I think I also picked up Killzone.
Ooh.
At launch? Yeah, I picked up Killzone at launch.
That's a bummer. That was
kind of regret it.
Yeah, not a good game.
It was not very good. It was terrible on remote play, which was the main reason I bought it.
Yeah, because not all games supported that yet.
No.
And that one did, and I was like, this will be cool, and then it wasn't.
Starting at the top of our list, this was incredible that they had actual physical copies that you could get. Angry Birds Star Wars. I mean, we're talking the height of Angry Birds here.
And I thought we had reached the height of commercialism with it.
Seriously.
Trevor says the best thing Xbox One had was the Netflix app. Don't forget Hulu. So yeah, there were many other features that were carried over from the console before. Some of these things weren't available day one, though. I don't think those apps were available day one. I could be wrong.
I am almost positive you're correct. I've seemed to remember DVD player not even being a day one app. It was within the first week, but
yeah, it was an update.
Yeah.
Blacklight Retribution. I don't believe I played that. That was a PSN free-to-play title. Did either of you play that?
I think I checked it out for like 5 whole minutes.
Contrast, which was a PS Plus PSN game.
Which to this day I know nothing about.
Yeah,
I'm sure I own it, but I don't know anything about it.
I don't think I played that. DC Universe Online, I definitely put some time into that because I started on PS3 with it and then carried over to PS4. Dive Kick, PSN.
Ugh. I will never understand how that game got as popular as it did.
Dive Kick?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever heard of that one.
Do you know what Dive Kick is?
No, what is that one?
Take everything you imagine when you think of your 2D fighting games from the mid-90s through the early aughts. And so, like, colorful characters, weird backgrounds, like, think a weird mixture between, like, Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom and BlazBlue, right?
Okay.
Now thin that down to 2 buttons, jump and kick, and nothing else.
No.
Literally, that's 100% of the gameplay. There's no punch, there's no combos, there's no special moves. You jump in the air and you hit the kick button to dive kick at your opponent. If you hit them, you won.
Wow.
And it went bananas. I had to hold tournaments for it at conventions. It was ridiculous.
I guess I blinked and I missed that one. That surprises me.
Count yourself lucky. I almost had an aneurysm.
It sounds terrible. Caleb, you never played that one? You never dive kicked?
I don't even know about it. It has never even registered. Like I said, that's probably for me being not a kind of day one ready guy. But it sounds, I feel like there's definitely a range of games of just ultra simplicity that for whatever reason get to be like so popular. You look at even just like Flappy Bird, obviously not a console game, but such a simple game, and it was the biggest craze in the world.
Yeah, the story behind that's intriguing.
Yeah, there's definitely a story on that.
Well, the guy built it as like a tech thing he was messing around with, sold it for 99 cents, made millions of dollars. He couldn't keep up with the tech support, so he pulled it from the store within days.
Yeah, and then people were like getting beat up over having it still, right? Because if you had downloaded it, you still had it, but you couldn't get it if you hadn't downloaded it previously.
Correct. So people were reselling their devices to make money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Insanity.
But yeah, I think that there's something to be said about the simplicity of some games, and that's I guess it's cool to hear of a console game that went so crazy. But yeah, I guess I'm a little sad that I wasn't even aware of it, because it seems like it would have been a fun fad to be a part of. Maybe not a fun fad to be a part of running tournaments of, apparently. But
I guess we're both lucky, and I'm glad I'm not alone. So I'm going to give you a flower.
Oh, thank you so much.
Speaking of flower, did you ever you ever play flower?
No, gosh, no.
Fun and relaxing.
No part of that was something that looked interesting to me.
Visually, it looked interesting.
I think, visually correct. That's what I was gonna say. Definitely a beautiful game, but I don't outwardly start playing video games to try and relax. I play them. I guess I don't know why I play them, but it isn't to kind of calm myself down.
So this game, I ended up getting through PlayStation Plus down the road for free, and ultimately, I wish I would have known it was this good, but I'm happy I waited because I got it for free. But I would have purchased it, and I'm not a big fighting game guy. Smash Bros is generally the where I draw the line. Injustice: Gods Among Us Ultimate Edition, which included the extra DLC. And this was a game that was available on the PS3, but they up-resed it and gave you all the DLC on the PS4. Did either of you play this?
I did. I did play it, but it would have been kind of later when I got it. I feel like it eventually made it as a PS Plus game at some point.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's how I got it.
Yeah, and so it's definitely, I've never been good at this type of fighting game where you need to know the combos, and I'd constantly be pausing it and try and figure out what my combo was. But man, definitely it's so cool to play as those characters and to be able to kind of blow through the environment and kind of bust out the engine and fly up as Superman and all the cool effects based on which stage you were playing at. I thoroughly did enjoy this one. Yeah, kind of with you. I wish it was one that maybe I had when I lived with a bunch of friends, because it would have been cool probably to just kind of, have a little mini tournaments or whatever.
Oh, and the story was so good too, and that's the thing that I found, so great about it. It was like the modern Mortal Kombat's now. It had a story between the fights. It wasn't just like, all right, here's your next fight. It actually set things up. So I thought it was well done.
Some of the cutscenes were pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually bought the Injustice originally on the Xbox 360 and absolutely loved the shit out of it, but I didn't wind up getting it on PS4 until it came out as one of the PS Plus games.
So, Rob, you said you got Killzone Shadowfall. Tell me about that experience.
To be honest with you, it just wasn't very memorable, so there's not a whole lot I can tell you about it other than it was Killzone. If you played any of the other ones, it's kind of Call of Duty adjacent. Sort of weird near future alternate timeline kind of nonsense, I guess. I mean, it was cool as a shooter to pick up when the game came out, but
It's a game that I picked up much further down the line when it was like for sale for like $5, and I was like, I just want to go get a game, $5 or $7. And it's and Travis, you might want to plug yours for this one. The reason I wanted to play Killzone is because you could play as him in PlayStation Battle All Stars.
Blah.
You're welcome. I know you wanted to hear that. For people who didn't catch that episode, I am one of the few people in the world who thoroughly enjoyed that game. Me and my friends played the mess out of it, and I will stop there before I get destroyed. Anyway,
no, don't stop
that?
there. Tell them to go back and watch the episode. You got to pimp the previous podcast, Caleb.
Yeah, everybody rewind, unlisten, and pick up here. Yeah, and so if you want to hear a heated debate and watch men cry and sweat over that stuff, and also get mad at me for having that game so high up on my list, go watch our top 10 games of the decade episode. Definitely
Cole doesn't need to be 2 characters, Caleb.
You know what I love about that exchange just there is that you said heated debate like it wasn't the best pun we've ever had on this show.
Exactly. Yeah, you're welcome.
He does not need to be 2
but
characters.
Yeah, so I didn't play it very far. It wasn't a game that so I guess it wasn't as enticing. But I am such a sucker for like sci-fi shooters. I don't know what it is. They just draw me in. I want to buy every one and play them, even though a lot of them are super similar anyways. So it's one that I enjoyed. What are you saying?
Halo.
Yes, Halo. I thought you were saying Caleb. I'm like,
It's just trolling you.
So I did enjoy it though, but it's because it's a game that was built for me, and I was familiar with the character. I wanted to know a little bit more about his game.
Fair enough. You want to know my fond memory of Killzone?
Yeah.
I was working, as mentioned, at GameStop at the time, around this launch window. That was the game that was traded in first on these new consoles. And probably for the most.
In droves.
Yeah. So that's what I remember. Because I was like, wow, new console games being traded in already. And it's just piles of pre-owned copies of Killzone.
Killzone got traded in with almost the same veracity as Rise, man.
Yeah, that was traded in real quick, too.
Huh.
Because it was so short. And you could get all the achievements in like 2 playthroughs. Or 1 if you were good. Well, I think there was some that required 2nd playthrough. I don't recall. A game
I like that subtle
was
jab. If you were good.
If you were good. Get good, son. There was a game that was marketed as good, looked good, but then you played in it, wasn't good. For those that haven't figured it out yet, it is Knack.
Put your earmuff on. Here I come. I played Knack.
I actually just watched Kevin play Knack last year, like in 2019.
And I enjoyed it, and I think one of the reasons I did enjoy it, it was definitely simple. Travis is like, you're not my friend anymore.
Dude, I played Minecraft.
Playing all these easy games.
That's true, yeah. I think one of the things I did like it was that it had that feature that I hadn't had in a game in a while, where a friend could come over and then all of a sudden hop on couch play with you for a little bit, right? It's a game. I think that's part of the reason why I liked it, because you could play as like the secondary Knack dude. like the little rock version.
Yeah.
I guess they're all rocks. So stupid. The pebble version of him, and I liked it. I liked the simplicity. I liked that kind of style of game again. I don't know, and I think visually it was one that I think they hooked me on when they announced it, and it's one that I was looking forward to. And I think I didn't let myself kind of poop on it too much, and so I did enjoy it.
It was just so clunky. So clunky. But visually, yeah, sure. I was like, okay, this looks cool. That's what drew me in. But it was just so clunky. I did not want it in my Playroom, which is our next game. It was a pack-in for Sony. Anyone know anything about Playroom?
Is this what I think it is? Hold on.
I don't know a
Yeah.
lot about it, to be honest.
So I did. I think it was the first thing that I. Well, I don't know. Did you have to have the camera to? You didn't have to use a head camera to have Playroom, but like you could put these little dudes in your remote and like shake them around. Because I think this is one of the versions where they tried to use the speaker on the remote because it has a speaker. Am I right? Where's it at? I think it has a speaker. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a speaker
and like
on there.
they'll make little noises that go like like
How does that
like
go?
they're inside your remote. We really need to do sound bites.
We do. That's our next. That's our goal for 2020. We're getting a soundboard. Damn it.
Yes, I'm all for it. But yeah, it's one that and I feel like it had like 4 achievements, and then you had platinum it because I feel like there was always 2 games on my platinum list, and one of them was that. And I'm like, that's so stupid. But maybe it doesn't even have platinum. I can't remember.
I don't know. I only have 1 platinum to this date. Shout out to Crash, who has like 400,000 platinums.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I have
Yeah,
one,
that
but it's
dude-
kind of cheating. It's a Telltale game, so.
That dude platinumed like 15 games last year or something crazy like that. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
He's got to get him in. He's got a kid coming.
Yeah. I think I'm up to like 11 now.
Just 1 for me.
Well, are you saying on just PlayStation 4? Did you not platinum anything on PS3 either?
No.
You bum.
Dude, I was an
I didn't
Xbox
have
guy.
PS3 very long.
Yeah, I had to justify having both systems by playing all my multiplayer on the Xbox and playing all my single player on PlayStation.
And to answer Trevor, no God of War platinum now. My only platinum to this day is for Spider-Man.
Oh,
And
because you
that's
played
one,
Walking Dead
if I
on the
recall,
Xbox.
you were very
Yes,
proud of.
I played Walking Dead on Xbox. So, a popular game. I didn't play this, but I remember the conversations from so many PlayStation 4 owners about this game. I hate your
Redbeard has 65.
65 platinums, jeez. Resogun. Anyone?
I remember that it existed. I don't think I ever played it.
Oh, we're gonna make so many people mad.
Why?
Yeah, no.
Because I
that
feel like
doesn't
that
ring
was
a
so
bell.
highly regarded at launch.
Was it? I don't even remember it.
It was the talk of the town.
Yeah, well, I
No,
guess
mean,
we're canceled.
We live in a small town, I guess. Okay, fine. So no memories for Resogun. Moving on.
Nope, moving on.
Yikes.
Man, I'm looking at like screenshots and stuff, and I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, I don't remember even from the pictures.
All right. Do you remember Sound Shapes from Queasy Games? I don't remember this at all. Sound Shapes. This does not
I
sound
don't remember
familiar.
that game or that company.
No,
Well,
that rings no bells.
no bells there. Just leave a comment below if you remember it and call us out on
Oh no, I do remember
If you
Resogun.
platinum sound shapes, yeah, shout out to you.
Yeah, you the man or woman. Or cat.
Well, I guess yeah, anyway. Probably.
Super Motherload.
Resogun was cool. That's
There you
that's
go,
all I'm
Becker.
gonna say on
It
it.
was cool. Super Motherload. Anyone play that?
I think I played it like way later because I feel like this is one of the ones that got added in as a PS Plus.
Okay.
No, never touched that one.
Trying 2, the complete story. I didn't even know there was a number 1.
Nope. Again.
And
Yeah, Trine is a series I've slept on, but I've heard nothing but good things about.
okay. And Warframe, which still exists, that just recently got ported to the Switch.
See, I vaguely
go ahead.
remember playing Warframe when the system first came out and not really giving a hot crap about it.
Oh, because I don't think it was great. I think it's only
But
recently made
suppo-
improvements.
It was a free game. Was it always a free game? Because I knew it as a free game, and that's why I bought
Yeah.
it. Or
Yeah,
picked
it's
it up.
free to play with in-game purchases.
I got you. Because I feel like that was the first time I even knew about that type of game that was free just to get, and it looked, some of the screenshots from it was like, wow, this is a free game. It could be like the new kind of, thing. I don't know, but I don't think I ever actually played it. I think I
Yeah,
just
this
downloaded
was the wave of that starting to happen, pretty commonplace in consoles. With
Yeah,
the free.
supposedly it's extremely like Destiny now.
Yeah, it's very, very different than it was back in 2013. Launch window, we're going to talk about, which again is day 1 to March 2014, so the first 4 months. There are several titles for PlayStation here in the launch window, by far greater than the Xbox had. I'm going to cover some of them that were available on both. Minecraft eventually made its way to PlayStation. Again, that was a day 1 on Xbox. What else? Not a lot. Wow. Wolfenstein was another. So, knocking out of the park with games to play in the first 4 months was PlayStation. Let's kick it off. Caleb, you want to start us at the top?
Yeah, I'll go down the top, but I did a little bit of research while you guys were talking for a second. The Playroom has 4 trophies, and I don't have any of them. There's that. Okay.
Well, you need to go back and get those 4.
I think I'm gonna do that tonight. Actually, I think that sounds
Get
like
off your
Take
That's good
screenshots
plan.
and send them to us. We'll post them on our Instagram.
yeah. All right. So let's see here. And all of these, no, there's a couple. Are there a couple of crossovers? I mean, that match up.
Yeah, I mentioned a few that were crossover.
I gotcha. All right.
But we'll work our way down from the top.
1001 Spikes. You guys familiar with this guy?
Familiar, didn't play it though.
No, I don't even. The name doesn't ring a bell. Awesome Knots, a symbol. It's a game that I definitely remember being a thing, but I don't remember touching it.
Samesies.
Same.
What about the ever popular Backgammon Blitz?
Nope.
So these are all PSN titles too. So these are all downloads. So it's possibly
Gotcha.
why PlayStation was able to achieve
Almost
a greater.
almost all of them. I mean, we're gonna hit one in a minute that was retail.
Sure,
and
sure.
worth getting, but a lot of these were PSN. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basement Crawl. Anything on that?
Never heard of it.
Counter Spy.
Heard of it, didn't play.
Did play it. It is. It's fun. I like it a lot. It's not ever gonna win game of the anything, but it was cool.
We should make a game of anything title and give it.
Game of whenever I played it that
Is
one
this the
time.
game that I think it is?
Which one? Counter Spy or Daylight?
Daylight. No, it's not the game I thought it was.
No,
okay.
Daylight
Anybody-
is very similar to another survival game.
Gotcha. There was another zombie something Daylight, Sunlight something.
Dying Light.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Okay. Deep Down from Capcom.
Nope.
I don't even remember hearing about that one.
When you go to that page, it's a working title still.
So it's deep down somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, hey. There you go.
Ooh.
Doki
Subscribe.
Doki Universe. If I said that right.
Yeah. Okay. See, I don't remember this game. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember ever playing it. But I do want to share a brief side note about Doki Doki. I can't hear this game and not think of a game that was released on PC not that long ago called Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh.
Which, if you guys have never heard of it,
No.
it's extremely meta. It was one of the earlier games in that weird subset of games where the things you did in the game would then affect the game itself, but then you could also affect the game by affecting the game. And what I mean by that is that there's a branch in the storyline within the game where you save it, edit the game files, and load it back up, and it changes the story.
I feel like I should have been taking notes when he said that.
No, so like, any other role-playing game, like you do a thing and like you make a decision and that affects stuff later on, right? Like this is extreme in RPGs, right? Except in this game, you don't even have to make the decisions in the game. Like it actually, at one point, one of the storylines gives you instructions on what file happen and what line of code to change. And then after you change that line of code, you reboot the game and you get a different load screen. One of the characters is no longer there. Like, it completely changes the actual branch of the story that you're in. And it's like some sort of weird psychedelic meta murder mystery kind of thing. It's absolutely bonkers, and it is 1,000,000% unrelated to Doki Doki Universe.
Okay, that's what I thought we were gonna end with.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, Doki Doki Universe, I saw it on this list, and I'm like, what the hell? This can't be related to Doki Doki Literature Club, and it's not. Like, Doki Doki Universe is like one of those doodle type art style games, and Doki Doki Literature Club is like an interactive manga.
Very funny. So we're gonna move
bananas, though. Yeah,
past
sorry.
the universe and the literature club, if anyone minds.
Oh, I'm in a Doki Doki panic.
Yeah, and we're gonna dive into one that I'm sure we're gonna talk about because I have things to say about it. It's Drive Club.
Oh.
Well, why don't you say some things?
Yeah, enlighten.
Am I the only one? Okay, so yeah. I remember seeing the commercials for this one again, and I don't know why I remember all these commercials. Maybe it's just because this was the last big consoles that were released. I guess that's an easy answer. But I remember it being such a cool idea. I feel like they pitched it as exactly what the name is, Drive Clubs. Like, you all have your car, and at any time you can hop in and, like, you know, drag race and race around the city with your boys and have like different clubs you're part of or whatever. And it was a big letdown to me personally. Did you guys ever mess with it?
No.
I skipped it for the same reason I skipped Forza. Like, Need for Speed is about as much my quote-unquote speed as racing games get.
And I was a big Need for Speed guy, and my brother really liked Forza, especially because of like the specific cars and how real they were and everything. And I was enticed by that because I thought it would be cool to have that with the fun social aspect. And I think the gameplay was fine, but I feel like either maybe not enough people were in on it, or maybe I didn't have enough of my close enough friends, or I feel like at that time it wasn't easy to find non-friends to play with in a lot of games. There wasn't a lot of communities easily accessible that I can remember. But it was a game that I was let down on. I don't know if there's anybody in chat. I don't think there's anything showing up for Drive Club, so we're gonna go ahead and move on here. But that's my 2 cents about Drive Club. Escape Plan.
Nope.
I feel like I remember this.
It's another puzzle game.
Yes. Yeah. Didn't play it, but remember it looked cute.
Yeah, I have very limited direct experience with it, but it's, somewhat similar to a game that I did on stream with Kevin called Shift Happens. You get 2 little dudes and you gotta, interact with the environment to get to the end of the level kind of deal.
Yeah. Oh, have I lost my place? Oh, here we go.
Flow.
We have Flow. You guys got anything on that?
I mean, I
still don't understand it.
Yeah, I seen it. It wasn't really my style.
I played it for like 6 hours. I still have no idea what was going on.
I feel like we have a recurring theme here. How about the next one? Ho Ho Come?
That's an adult stream.
Sorry. Hook'em. That's probably better, right? That's probably how to say it.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's got a weird kind of not Patapon. What am I thinking of? I can't think of it now. Son of a bitch.
See, it
was a PSP game. Somebody help me here.
I don't know.
It's a rhythm-based game.
No, because that is Patapon.
Oh, okay.
There's one with the cute little Loco Roco. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, okay.
It's got kind of a Loco Roco looking art style going on.
Loco Roco.
All right.
I don't know diddly about it, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Infamous Second Son.
Oh my god, this game.
This is the rest of the show right here, folks.
Yeah.
Do we want to circle back to this and actually close with that?
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like we probably should because of all the things on the PlayStation. That's the one worth talking about.
Too far, let me get my fun on the way. Travis, guess what my experience is with characters in this game?
Do you hear that sound? That's me walking away. There doesn't need to be
this has
two
been our
calls.
last Dosage episode.
Good Lord. All right. Since for that,
Mercenary Kings.
Nope.
Minecraft.
We talked about that.
Probably not worth talking about because it's just regular Minecraft, right, on PS4.
Yeah, it's the same. So
I feel like it's just N++. Am I saying that right? Is there another way to say that?
Nope.
No, it's N++.
Okay. I don't know of it. Do you guys know?
I do.
I do. I put about 10 hours into it. It's a platformer. I mean,
It's a
literally,
level-based
you just
challenge platformer like Super Meat Boy kind of thing.
yeah,
Gotcha.
jump
Okay.
around, collect the things, get to the exit.
Yeah, it's fine.
The next one. Go ahead.
Oh, see ya, Batman.
Thanks for
Thanks for
listening.
tuning in.
Yeah. Next one, Octodad. It's a game that Dadliest Catch, a game that drew me in, but I never actually pulled the trigger on getting.
I didn't play it on the sheer fact that on our demo kit, that damn trailer for the game played over and over throughout every one of my shifts.
Oh,
I'm gonna be honest with you. That is the thing above and beyond all other things I don't miss about working there is those friggin' demo reels.
Oh, over and over. It had a song and everything, and it had like just puns, and I'm just like, I can't. It was funny the first time, so I just avoided that game on that principle alone.
Well, in a similar sounding game as far as words go, Odd World. I guess not that similar. New and tasty.
Didn't
Wasn't
play
that
it.
just like a redo of the first Abe's Odyssey, the first Oddworld game?
I believe so, yeah.
This one was? I thought there was another one that was remade. Look it up really quick. Oh yeah, no, Modern
Yeah,
Creation.
Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, new and tasty. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Outlast.
Great game.
hard pass.
That's going to be a future stream, so be on the lookout for that on our next horror thing.
I feel like I did pick this one up, but I don't remember playing it.
Oh,
I
you'd
played
remember.
it for like 5 whole minutes. I can't do it.
You'd remember.
I can't. It's too much for me.
It's intense.
All right, what about Pinball Arcade? That's probably both, right?
Yeah. Well, no. It was
Oh,
rights to PlayStation because they acquired like themed pinball machines that you could purchase in game. So it's just it's a money grab. It's a fine game, but man, to buy the extra pinball machines is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
they knew what they were doing.
Oh. Batman is not leaving. He was just making fun of us for Caleb killing the podcast.
Oh.
Well, thanks for sticking it out.
Better the jokes than we are. All right, Planet Side 2.
Nope.
I wanted to get into it. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I don't think I know this one.
Multiplayer FPS, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It was another one of those with like Warframe and all these others that were making like a jump to the scene.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How about Cherry Pop? Oh, nope. Am I wrong? Where's
Cherry
that?
Pop.
Cherry Pop. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong section. I wanted to how about
like-
that Cherry Pop games? What about Pool Extreme?
It's like what the game.
I don't know. Oh my god.
I could go for a cherry pop, but
Caleb needs a nap.
What do you guys say about Pool Nation Extreme?
same
Not much
thing.
to say
I mean,
there.
it's a pool game.
Yeah.
Billiards.
Primal Carnage, Genesis.
No clue.
I got
Yeah.
nothing.
Nothing.
My
Putty
brain
Squad?
wanted to give me Primal Rage. I got nothing on it.
Again, more PSN
Putty
games
Squad.
here that we're going through.
Yeah, we'll kind of blow through this. Putty Squad, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Raise the Dead, as in Ray owns the dead.
Or raising them.
Yeah, it's not spelled that way.
Ray
The
definitely
Witness?
owns them. The Witness I have dumped a ton of hours into. It is also a puzzle game. Shocker.
Yeah.
So you
Moving
can catch
around.
that on our YouTube channel if you want to see any previous streams.
The next one, here we go. Hopefully you guys have stuff to say about this one. Thief.
Played it, and honestly, I didn't enjoy it.
I wanted to because I really and truly enjoyed the franchise originally when it was on PC, but I just couldn't buy into this reboot.
What about
Not the same way.
wasn't this the game? And Travis, since you played it, I feel like there was a part of this game where if you had the camera, there was something about the light on your controller and you had to like hide it from the camera at certain points. Does that ring a bell to anybody?
Doesn't sound familiar, but I did not have the camera. So
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have the camera when I played it either, but that does sound like a mechanic they would have shoved in
For
there.
whatever reason, I feel like that was a thing, and that part again was one of those kind of cool. It sounded like something that was fun, but again, it wasn't worth me buying the camera over. I feel like probably.
Yeah.
But
I always
Tiny
want those gimmicks to be cooler
Oh.
than they wind up being, but then they wind up being annoying. Like
Exactly.
Uncharted
Again.
Golden Abyss had one of those. Golden Sun on the DS had one of those.
Yeah. It just feels like they're trying to show off the features.
But I think the problem is tiny brains.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. The transition, and I don't know Tiny Brains, so
I don't know that one either.
Yeah, my brain's
We'd
too
probably
big for
need a
that game.
transistor to understand it.
oh boy. And if we did that, we might cause a war, Thunder.
And if we had a war, we'd have to create a Wolfenstein New Order. So
And,
That was just a
that's the end of
really
that
weird
list.
thing that just happened now.
you could say it was infamous.
You could.
Yes. What-
Tiny Brains looked like a
before-
puzzle platformer. Transistor was one of those two, just to throw those out there.
Before we let Travis unleash on us over this game,
Yeah.
wasn't there a game, and maybe I'm just going crazy, what was the, 1887 game?
Oh,
The
the Order.
Order.
1886.
Yeah, was
That
just
was
like a-
supposed to be a launch title, but it got
Okay.
delayed.
I got
Speaking
you,
of
so I'm
that,
not
too,
crazy.
Watch Dogs was a launch window title that got delayed,
Uh,
which I enjoyed that game.
what
But-
about the World Order? You guys play that one?
The New Order?
Yeah,
Yeah, I played that one. We talked about that a little bit in the Xbox section.
the Xbox one. Gotcha. Okay.
To close out
Travis,
our section,
what
though,
do you know?
go
What do
ahead.
you know about Infamous Second Son here?
I played it, loved it. I was a fan of the series, fan of the character until they put 2 versions of it in PlayStation All-Stars. No, but for real, this game, besides picking Destiny up because of Bungie's involvement, for those that don't know, I love Halo. Halo, of course, was brought it to us by Bungie initially. But Infamous was one that I played. I even got the busts of the characters from 1 and 2. Absolutely loved that franchise, and I was very excited for this. Second Son served a great experience visually. It was a game I wanted, an open world collector game where I had to do missions and have superpowers, and it told a great story. I was not disappointed, and then later we got DLC with First Light, and I thought that was a great add, even though it utilized the same map, but it did it well. It was honestly probably top 10 on the PS4 for me.
Really?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Of all the games that I had for either system in the first calendar year of both, I think I put more hours in Infamous Second Son than any other game.
Wow, I feel like I've missed out.
You absolutely have. Did you play 1 or 2? Or Festival of Blood?
I played as both guys in the game, but
I believe First Light and Second Son were both PS Plus games, excuse me, at one time.
jeez. And there's a good, I do have, I'm scrolling, I have my list up. I think I do have Second Light. I think I downloaded that one. Is that what it's called?
First Light
First
and
Light.
Second Son.
First Light. Yeah, I definitely did download First Light, but it looks like I didn't really put much time into it all.
I mean, you can get them for cheap now. Honestly, I encourage you to do so.
Yeah. And I would actually highly recommend that you play Second Son before you try to put any time into First
Yes,
Light.
Absolutely.
Will it explain to me why there's 2 characters?
That's
It will
why
not.
it's the story. It's the main plot point of Second Son.
I know that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to trigger you a little bit.
Oh, you were going
But
back
no,
to
like,
All Stars.
Second Son was one of
Coles?
the
Is that
first
what you're doing
times.
Yeah,
What's
that's
that?
what I'm doing.
here? I'm talking over you because he's trying to poke the bear here. That's fine.
Yeah, I was trying to move us along a little bit
Man,
here.
please lock do so.
No, Second Son was one of the first times I actually really and truly considered redoing the story for the alternate takes.
Oh, I totally did. I played through it.
I never got around to it because by the time I finished it, First Light came out, and by the time I finished First Light, something else came out. But I want to. I still want to. Like, occasionally I consider going back and doing 1 and 2 alternate routes just for the plats, but Raven said, "That's it. You guys talked me into buying PlayStation All Stars now."
God, that's the last thing we want to do with our podcast here.
Give it a chance.
Come on, this is
I
not
like
what this
PlayStation
show
All
is
Stars.
about.
You're outnumbered here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but you also like
that's
Sonic Spinball. I can't trust your taste.
The Dosage is now officially the PlayStation All Stars podcast.
Oh God,
Oh my god.
I quit.
Well, we'll see you next week. Maybe.
Jeez.
Well, I think we've made it through that full list. I think on both of the consoles here. Do you guys have
Yeah.
anything kind of just overall takes on the PlayStation launch titles?
I didn't get it at launch. Like I said, I got it when Destiny came out, so I really have no say so. I'm glad I got the console because the library it does have today, but I don't have any insight on the actual launch of it. I wasn't a part of it.
Yeah. And then Rob, you did have a launch. Do you have any kind of, I guess, counter? Are there any games that you feel like were worth it to get it kind of day one to get right in on it?
For as much as I have enjoyed the games on both platforms that I have enjoyed, I don't know that uh I don't know that either game actually had a launch window game that I feel was worth buying the system for. Dead Rising 3 was good, and it was worth buying Dead Rising 3, but I don't think it was worth buying an Xbox to play Dead Rising 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Um, I mean, you got a lot better games on the Xbox for sure. Like, as much as I don't care for Halo in general, I do like Gears. Um, so that would have been a better reason if they could have had either of those franchises as a launch title on the Xbox. But
Yeah, there's no game that's a system mover really. Like you said, Dead Rising was great. I'm glad I got it too. Uh, Infamous is great, but I don't think like that would have made me go, yeah, here's $400.
Yeah, for
same,
sure.
same. And
Um,
again, I absolutely got my money's worth out of Infamous,
Yeah. Again,
but
top
I wouldn't
10,
have bought the system for it.
but no,
yeah,
no.
no, for sure. Let me ask you guys a question. So, like we already talked about this a little bit. For those of you who are familiar, I'm more of like a casual gamer. I don't get a lot of time, or I don't set aside enough time for myself to play tons of hours. So I play very few games throughout the year. So I don't have this problem. But I want to see what your guys' take on it is. Do you think that there's one system out of these two that did a better job of the launch titles keeping you busy until kind of that next wave came out of games? Is that an understandable question? Did I say
Yeah,
that
I'm
right?
just thinking on it. Honestly, like, I mean, we covered that kind of, like, what games we bought to keep us busy.
Yeah.
Speaking for Locke, he mentioned Assassin's Creed he got on PlayStation, whereas I was playing it on the Xbox with, like, Dead Rising and the shooters and stuff. That got me through the launch window. But honestly, I wasn't even thinking about, oh, I played these next kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I was pretty content because I still had a shelf full of PS3 and 360 games. So like,
Yep.
it's not like I didn't have anything else. I was fortunate and privileged to be able to get the system, the Xbox One at launch, but also have my library still. And a lot of people were still doing that. They had games they were going back and were still playing their 360 or PS3 games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, see, and I kind of had the benefit in that situation of being one of the only people I knew that jumped on either system at launch. And so, I was over here playing Infamous Second Son while most people I knew were still playing GTA 5 on the Xbox 360 or Call of Duty, or you know what I mean?
Well, GTA had just come out that September, like just 2 months prior. So that and
Yeah.
online had just come out a month and a half prior. So that was still very
Yep.
fresh.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel
So,
like that's something to note is whatever, games that were released just prior to. I feel like I didn't even think about that.
Right, and they
yeah.
didn't get ported over. You also got to consider too the Wii U.
Yeah.
That was starting to get games that were coming out finally for it, which is, anything about that system, few and far between.
Yes. Yes.
But our
yes.
closing segment, we must conclude and digress from all our conversations here. No true winner. It's all preference based, of course. This is not, hey, this is better than that. We just want to give our insight on the launch of both Xbox and PlayStation. And then, actually, before we do our conclusion segment, I want to kind of ask you all this question. We talked about this in our, I guess, looking forward to 2020. But now that we're talking about PlayStation, Xbox, which console are you getting, and which game, if you could pick one game for this winter?
Moving to the next series.
Moving into the Series X or the PS5.
Uh,
I guess. So I'll go first. Mine's PlayStation, and I think it's still just because that's the world I'm familiar with. That's where a lot of my kind of not on podcast friends play.
It's your
So
ecosystem.
yeah, that's something that I feel like it's just not to say that I would never get one, an Xbox, but I'm just so much more kind of bought into that ecosystem that I'm definitely going PS5.
Okay.
And I'm so far kind of removed from being even ready to play one of those new games that I don't know that I have one that would be like, this is the reason why. I don't. That's not really what you asked, but PS5 is definitely the way to go. And by the time I get it, I'll probably still be tinkering with some of my PS4 games. So
I think we all know I'm going to wind up getting both, but if I had to choose between one or the other, I probably would also lean PS5 just because the bulk of my play community is there. But that said, I'm really banking in either case on the heavy rumors that both consoles are going to be fully backwards compatible, because I don't know of anything launch window for either platform that I desperately want to play. So I'm really hoping I'll be able to just swap out my Xbox One and my PS4 for my Series X and my PS5.
Just to have
Yeah,
faster loading games.
I think that's a very fair point, actually, is the
Yeah.
backwards compatibility.
So, yeah, I mean, the rumor mill is very heavy with both systems being backwards compatible, more so on the side of Xbox with almost near confirmation of that. PlayStation, everyone's speculating with a lot of the registered blue
Trademarks
trademarks.
and stuff.
Thank you. For me, obviously, it's a hands down. If you've seen any of my recent streams in this past week for 2020 so far, I'm doing a countdown with Andrea. And what that countdown is, we're playing through every campaign in the Master Chief Collection and then Halo 5. Yes, I'm counting down with much anticipation and anxiety to Halo Infinite, and I'm getting an Xbox Series X, the day one edition, if there is such thing. I am so
You go,
hyped
boy.
for this. I am
You
so,
go, boy. You
hyped.
deserve it.
I don't want to feel entitled to anything, but I'm just very excited. I'm happy the game's going back to split screen. I'm happy we're getting back to Master Chief's story, and someone banned Trevor. He's a hater. Always hating on Halo. But I genuinely enjoy this series, and I'll continue to. I mean, almost 20 years strong. It's the reason I got my original Xbox. It's a reason I'll continue to support that console. Will I get a PlayStation 5? Yes. But when the NAW raffle, watch, I win it. I just troll everyone. Thanks, guys.
If you pull your name out of that box, Travis.
You know, I might just do that for those even listening, the few that are, just to troll everyone and then actually draw a winner.
It's not a prediction. It's a spoiler.
It's a spoiler. That's what's happening now. But yeah, I'm very much excited for the Series X. And I want to share
so
that
what you have to do then
excitement.
is pull your name out and then go, no, I'm just kidding, and then pull my name out, and they'll be like, no, I'm just kidding, and then pull Caleb's.
And then Andreas.
And then I'll take it.
Then have Andrea actually win, then it just comes to me anyways. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts
Check it fresh out
on
here.
this upcoming winter. It's going to be an expensive winter and a very exciting one. And we are going to be the place to cover it all. So make sure
Absolutely.
you subscribe and tell your friends about us because we're going to be talking about
#facts.
it.
Yeah.
But our
There
closing
are
segment.
many.
What? Go.
Oh, I was just going to try and have a cool one-liner. There are many like ours, but this is ours, and it's way better than all the other ones. So definitely listen to ours.
He's not wrong. But Caleb.
Yeah.
Closing segment.
Oh, wait. Oh, that was not as funny as I thought it was going to be. Hey, Travis. What you doing?
And you can find the archives right now on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/dose of nerd acumen. I am playing through the Halo franchise with Andrea, as mentioned. And it's been fun. Besides that, I've been working my way through the Showa period of the Godzilla franchise. And actually just talked to Rob about getting me a copy of the one and only Blu-ray that I'm missing that retails, not even retails, I guess, resells for over $200, and I'm not paying that premium. So I'm going to try to get my hands on Godzilla vs. Biollante. But just working my way through, watching them with Andrew and watching with my son, and we're just having a blast watching these old monster movies because they are so good. But that's pretty much all I'm doing, and I'm counting down to happy birthday to me. My birthday's next week. So, yeah, that's it.
Happy early birthday.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
What you doing?
Yes. Honestly, I'm rewatching House for the fourth time.
Don't you have a house?
I do, but I don't have Hugh Laurie in it.
Well, physically.
Fair enough. I think that'd be kidnapping if you did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I feel like that's frowned upon these days. Um, but no, really, that has been the bulk of what I've been doing. I've been, I mean, I have a handful of mobile games that I play here and there, but it's dumb time killer stuff when I'm taking care of my bio needs, if you know what I'm saying.
Go
Yep,
on.
I'm familiar with what you're putting down.
Ew.
Well, that's why I'm putting it down.
Uh,
Yeah, House is definitely on my top 5 shows ever. I actually, mistakes were made today, guys.
Uh,
I have been marathoning it real hard, and I got to the 2-part season finale for season 4 earlier today, and I watched both halves back to back right before the before we started the podcast, and I've had a headache this entire time because I cried so much because the season 4 finale is such a heartbreaker.
ooh.
jeez, sensitive Sally.
It's rough going, man. Something really, really terrible happens to like the
You know
best
what?
character in the show.
I thought something was off about you. You didn't seem as excited about all those puzzle games as I thought you were gonna be.
Yeah, well, you know.
Caleb, there doesn't need to be two Coles.
There does though, because one's evil and he gets a whole different set of powers.
Maybe they'll
Um,
fix it for the second game, which I'll play on PS5.
Oh God.
Samesies. But the only other thing I've really been up to lately is I feel like I had to have mentioned this on one of the streams we've done recently, but a friend of mine got me an Oculus Rift as a birthday present, and so I've been playing a shit ton of Beat Saber.
Yes, so
Where's
fun.
the? We need the stream of that. Make it happen.
I see. Here's the problem. I just plain don't have the frickin' space. Like I barely have the space to play the game, and wearing the headset, I can't see the camera, so
That's all right. Just put it
Jeez.
in the corner. We just want to
I
see
just
this.
murder the camera. No, so I have actually been putting in some footwork to try to figure out a good way to stream that. And at this point, I may very well in the near future just do a super low rent one where I just capture the game footage and nothing else, and
No,
not
we want
do.
to see you.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
people show up for.
we want a
Well,
couple
see,
camera
and
angles.
that's the problem. Like, I don't have any way to set up the stuff for that. I
Just
mean,
put
I
the
have the
camera in the
software now
corner.
for it, but I don't have the physical space for it.
Make it work.
Yeah,
The
I
fans are
have a buddy.
demanding.
I have a
All right,
buddy
so here's
coming
what we're gonna
over.
do. I'm gonna bring it over to your house, set up in the garage.
That's fine. Let's do it. See,
I'm gonna
silence.
make David hold the camera.
It's in.
We have silence as approval, so we're doing this.
I sincerely, I'm fine with that. Because you've got the green screen stand,
Yeah, let's do this.
and that's at least 50% of what I need.
There you go.
So it's a done deal. You're getting a future stream, whenever that may
Yep.
be.
I don't know, but we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be awesome because Beat Saber is awesome.
Yes, it is.
I also bought Accounting Plus, which we're also gonna do on a stream.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Have you seen Accounting Plus?
Yes, I'm very familiar with it. I've not played
Yeah.
it, but I've seen it. One of my friends, he's in town. He's gonna be on the podcast, the Dose of Nerd Audio podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're getting ready to record a couple episodes. So yeah, we kind of had been teasing this, guys. Actually, is there anything you guys wanted to ask me?
Hey, Caleb,
Yeah,
what you doing, buddy?
my bad. I just kind of jumped in without the intro. Yeah, so I've been kind of teasing a little bit, but I have a plan for Dose of Nerd Audio, and I have a friend who's in town just for a couple more, probably another week or so. But he is currently getting his doctorate in some sort of neuroscience, and he's doing a lot of research on virtual reality, which is super cool. So he's gonna come over. We're gonna have a couple podcast episodes with him on it, and he's gonna bring over his PlayStation VR. I played a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's last time he came over, and I played a lot of
Oh,
Beat Saber. And so I'll try and get a couple, even if it's just at the bare minimum, like cell phone footage of the screen and me or whatever. We'll try and get something
bare minimum.
worth it, because I definitely I dance my heart out when I play Beat Saber. I'm like getting into it, so it's gonna be
I,
worth the watch.
I want to see you play Five Nights
Oh
more than
boy.
I want to see you play Beat Saber.
What I'll try and do, because it's well worth it, is if I can get my other friend to come over. This is a lot of my friends when I lived in the house where we all played Dead Space and PlayStation All Stars, Travis's favorite. But we would all make a thing of playing Dead Space, and really we would just watch one person play it and we'd all react. And then later on we moved to another apartment and did the same thing with all the Five Nights games. and it's quite an entertaining show just to watch him play. And so if I can get that going with the PSVR, and we'll see what we can do to get some content your guys' way. So that's part of what I'm doing, is getting that planned out and trying to have a couple episodes. That way I don't feel like I'm, constantly trying to make things move. If I can build it up, that's the plan there. But outside of that, I have been playing the games I got for Christmas. So I just cracked into Outer Worlds. So happy.
Good stuff.
Wow. Like, even just like the humor, like I'd sit and just laugh at some of the jokes, like some of the things that the people say when you're talking to them. It is. I've not gotten very far into it because again, I don't play. I suck at like playing for hours and hours. But I've thoroughly enjoyed that. I have the Star Wars game Fallen Order, but I've not started it. I think I started to install and download all the updates, and then I got tied away and couldn't actually get it started. So between that, I've also completely finished Pokemon Sword as far as the gameplay story mode, like the both credit scenes I've gone through, and now I have made the ultimate decision to every night when I go to bed. Don't make this a weird thing. I just there's no way to say it not weird, but I'm already this far. I'm going to grind on the on my Pokedex. I'm going to grind out the Pokedex. I'm going to complete it. So I've made the decision that I am going to absolutely smash my Pokedex.
Wow, a lot of innuendos there.
Yep, there is. We were already there, so I went for it. So other than that, I'm trying to kind of get back in a little bit of shape personally. So I hate working out and lifting weights, but I'd love to jump rope. And so if there's anybody out there who's looking for a new fun type of exercise to maybe fulfill your New Year's resolutions, I'd look into jump roping, because for me, it's more fun than lifting weights, and it's definitely a really good work. So that's what I've been up to.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I give up soda for the new year, and I've been walking on the treadmill 30 minutes. So
hey, absolutely. That can be much more help than people would ever believe. Just, getting your body moving and getting walking like that can be a really, really big help.
Yeah, all of us sit down for a living. So
yeah, no kidding. It's a big part of why I was so excited about getting Beat Saber, though, since I can't really use my my drum kit for Rock Band as much anymore. Beat Saber gets me completely up off the couch anyway, but it's, cardio.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't hurt. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Not a whole lot, just trying to get through. I also have Luigi's Mansion 3, but I made the decision to try and crank out the Pokedex, and I haven't pushed start on Luigi's Mansion 3, which I'm a little sad about, and I might kind of go back and forth on.
You really need to.
If your wife is willing to play games with you, you should get her to sit down and play Luigi's Mansion with you. It's a ton of fun co-op.
That could be a good one. We did try. We tried with Knack, and she was not happy with that one, but she's just not a big gamer in general.
Sure.
So what you got to do...
I mean, it's cool by yourself, too, but...
She can be one of the Coles, and then you can be the other.
That is so funny. But she's been playing a lot of her Animal Crossing on my 3DS. I've made the decision, because I did a lot of research, and what I'm going to do is when the new one comes out, I'm going to buy her/us a Switch Lite, and then move her download files from her cloud saves over. That way she can play whatever games she still wants on her Switch Lite, and then I will have my Switch free when the new comes out.
You've made a smart decision.
Yes.
A wise choice.
I'll also have a Switch Lite to take and move if I need to.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's what I'm doing, guys. Any last kind of standing comments before we get out of here?
No, that's about all I have. I'll do our ending segment as always. Where can you find us? And that is on Twitch every single Tuesday, every single Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a brand new episode of Nerd Acumen Wrestling. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do so. It's an interactive wrestling show on the Xbox One. You can have your character upload and play along and vote along with chat. It's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it so much that I've put in almost 170 episodes of it coming up this weekend. So that's an incredible feat. You can also find our podcast on podcast platforms besides the one you're listening to right now. If you are listening to whatever one you're on, we're available on Spotify, Apple, and Google, as well as many, many others. Just search for the Dose of Nerd Acumen podcast or the Dosage podcast, and we may come up. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, joining our Discord chat, anything. Just search for Dose of Nerd Acumen. You'll find us. And I promise.
We're always there.
We're always, well, not so much on Discord, but we're working on that.
Yeah, well, we're trying.
I mean, it's there. You can
It
talk
exists,
at
right?
us.
It does
Yeah,
exist.
it is there.
I would
But
love to see more conversation take place in the Discord. That's where we are right now, for those of you who are not in the know.
it's true. That's how we're utilizing connecting through the interwebs, is through Discord. So thank you, Discord, for this convenient service.
Yay!
To find anything we've ever done throughout our time as a group, spanning almost 3 years of content creation, check us out on YouTube. Again, that's youtube.com/dose of nerd acumen. Find every archive show, every episode of the Weekly Dosage, The Dosage, every lock stream, every one of my streams, every guest appearance from Caleb on various streams, like the Classics Lounge, which is returning.
Yes.
So, yes,
That's gonna be
indeed. I'm working with Alex right now to get a RetroPie 4, which plays PS1 and N64 games quite well. So, very
And then we can
excited.
finally do Chef's Love Shack.
Finally. The rock. No, okay. But yes, be on the lookout for some really cool content. No specific schedule for Classics Lounge, and I'm going to keep it that way because my schedule is already insane. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I
But-
think it makes sense to just kind of let some content come out when it comes out.
yeah,
Kind of let it be organic.
I agree. But that's all I have. This has been episode 104 of The Dosage. Any last thoughts or words of encouragement from Rob or Caleb?
No, I gotta say it feels one. I apologize to you guys and the listeners out there. Sorry I was a little bit late, but it does feel really good just to be back. The break was nice, but it feels good to be back on the air here, sharing our sweet, sexy voices with the masses.
Oh, indeed, baby.
Yeah, it's good to be back here chatting with you guys. Even if we're gonna make weird euphemisms about grinding Pokedexes or pooping.
Well, yep, that happened.
Ah.
All right.
I missed you guys.
Welcome to 2020, everyone. The year of DNA.
Setting the tone.
And of course, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our amazing chat that checks us out during our live shows. Shout out to Batman, Zinder, Trevor, Redbeard. Who else was here tonight?
Crash.
Smalls, Crash. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But I appreciate every single one of you that chat in during our live shows. You can too. Again, twitch.tv/dose of nerd acumen. Check out our advertisements. We'll let you know when we're recording an episode and you can be part of the live experience. If not, check us out on podcast platforms. This has been 104 of The Dosage. We will see you at 105.
Peace.
Toodles.